As for Air Chief Marshal's participation on that conference last weekend, essentially he was in regards of what he said in regards of the number of Pakistani aircraft shot down. He was talking just about aircraft shot down by Indian air defense systems. So he specified 5 aircraft. Well, what is this in terms of revelation? It is a confirmation for something that's more or less known since May. We have seen evidence of not only 5, but even more Pakistani aircraft being shot down. We have seen evidence for even more Pakistani aircraft being destroyed on the ground. But there was no official confirmation from the Indian Air Force, not even from the government of India. Therefore, this is a nice confirmation for something that was assessed as a matter of fact already back in May.
Right. So the Air Force Chief described it as the largest ever recorded surface-to-air kill that can be talked about. And at 300 kilometers, this would be the longest or farthest ever recorded surface-to-air kill, not quantitatively the largest. How do you see these strike as an unprecedented move in the modern air warfare?
Well, this is a particularly important fact because we have seen Indian Air Force deploying its, in this case, S-400 surface-to-air missile system very close to the border to Pakistan, so close that it was actually firing missiles from within the range of Pakistani army's artillery, which meant if it would stay of its presence of the firing unit in question would have been detected by Pakistanis too early, the Pakistanis could have shelled the area in question, hit and destroyed this firing unit. So it was quite a risky operation, actually. That is the first point. The second point is that the Indian Air Force unit in question not only moved that close to the border, but also detected the presence of AWACS aircraft of the Pakistani Air Force over 300 kilometers range. On its own, no big deal because there are enough tools to do so. But then it fired this, as far as I remember from the video I have seen released in the Pakistani social media that evening, Pakistanis were reporting India launching ballistic missile attacks upon Pakistan. But actually, this is so that S-400s, when fired over such a range, over 300 kilometers, it is also flying along ballistic trajectory in order to stretch its range. And these missiles are very big. They are the size of ballistic missiles. So what happened then was to see these 3 or 4 strakes over rising into the nightly sky, and sometime after videos appeared of something, it was actually aircraft wreckage burning on the ground, and Pakistani police and armed forces servicemen moving around the area. So obviously something was shot down. It is probably a Saab 2000, which would be logical, highly important target at that point in time, because Saab 2000s were guiding the operations of the Pakistani Air Force and detecting operations of the Indian Air Force. And now there are different reports about exact range over which this kill was scored, or some say 308 kilometers, others 312 or 315 kilometers. It is as such the longest range confirmed shot down of by a surface-to-air missile. So in this case, it is a historic achievement. It is also the first. The second case in a peer-to-peer war in which such an aircraft has been shot down by SAMs. At earlier times, we have seen this early last year, Ukrainians deployed S-200 and Patriot missiles to shot down Russian A-50 AWACS over the Azov Sea. So in this case, it was not the first, but from the range in question, over 300 kilometers, it was the longest range ever. So major achievement that is beyond any doubt. So unprecedented, not really, because as I said, we have seen something of this kind happening in Ukraine last year. But still, One should keep in mind that Sub 2000 are much more advanced, even if smaller, but much more advanced, much more modern aircraft in comparison to old 50s. They have much more powerful electronic countermeasures, and still, obviously, one of them was hit and shot down. It also meant that the Pakistanis have lost lots of precious Air Force personnel, people who are on board of such aircraft, who are skilled tacticians trained for years. So this was a painful blow for Pakistani Air Force. And finally, when one loses such an aircraft this deep within own airspace, like this happened to Pakistan in this case, one should keep in mind that this is shocking the entire Air Force and forcing it to become conservative and extremely cautious in the way it operates. This is what has been mirrored in the way Pakistani Air Force was operating over the next 2 days of this war. So it was, again, major achievement, tactical, operational, and strategic level, and range-wise, definitely a major achievement, historic achievement, to score such an success over more than 300 kilometers range.
भारतर एकमात्र परीक्षित बायोसार पृथ्वी प्रो माटी को रखे सुस्थ दिए नुआ जीवन धान पनीपरिबा और डाली जातीय फसल पाई लाभदायक अमल बढ़ाए रोग कमाए आज ही जमी रे प्रयोग करंतु जोगाजोग पाई 9937054201 नंबर को डायल करंतु आम सह जोड़ी हेबा पाई आमकु लाइक फॉलो और सब्सक्राइब करंतु अधिक अपडेट पाई विजिट करंतु आम वेबसाइट thequiver.in